What's up, man? Hit that like button, 2 thumbs up. So, uh, Kamala Harris, who's running vice president with Joe Biden, who's pushing 60 years old, she made some headlines. She came off the helicopter in those like Team Jordan knockoff Tims, like the Tims, but they're like the Team Jordan version. It's like they're not the real deal, like the retro J's. Then you got the Team Jordans. Those are the ones nobody wears. The Tims she had on was like that. Those aren't your classic wheats. Those aren't the Tims that rappers made famous back in the 90s. Those aren't the Tims that we typically wear where we lace them, but we don't lace them all the way up tight like that. That's black culture, the way that we wear our Tims uniquely. We took a pair of construction boots that were made for everyday hardworking people. It was, the brand was started off in Massachusetts, and we took it and freaked it and made it cool until we stopped wearing them to a certain degree. But they're trying to use this is like identity politics. They're trying to use black culture to get black folks to. She's trying to use black culture to get black folks to accept her. Because a lot of us don't embrace her. We know we don't really look at her like she's the typical black woman born and raised here in the States. She went to school in Canada. Her father's Jamaican. She doesn't have any black cultural roots, but she's trying her hardest. And I've never seen a black politician have to resort to culture or identity politics to get the black vote. I mean, even Obama is even though he grew up completely different, he grew up with his white mother. He talks a little proper. He didn't have to resort to this. Obama didn't have to come out with no Timbs on his feet or no jersey, or he didn't need an endorsement from some big rapper. You know what I mean? He had you from day one if you supported him. I think what might have got him his black pass maybe was probably his wife, because even Obama's biggest critics, some of them they still love Michelle and those girls. So Obama didn't have to do this, but these are moves that you typically see with white politicians. Joe Biden with Cardi B and Bernie Sanders. I mean, speaking of Cardi B, they even tried to use her. One of Kamala's people had leaked out a story that Kamala was caught dancing and twerking in her office to the latest Cardi B record. Like who gives a fuck? Like that's supposed to, oh she like WAP. Okay, I'm gonna vote for her. I mean they're just trying, and like I say, the black celebrity is trying their hardest to get us to get behind Kamala Harris without any real demand for policy. And this is the same woman who told you on the Breakfast Club she doesn't have a Pacific policy in order for black folks. So why are we voting for her? They did the verses 2 weeks ago with Monica and Brandy. Shout out to them. They did a great job. Over 1 million views. Kamala Harris called in mid show and they did a segue of a little segment with her and Kamala. She knew it was 1 million people watching. A lot of black girls are gonna be watching. Black people. Let me get my face on there. I mean, they're doing anything, and they're gonna continue to see this for the next month and a half until the election, where black celebrity, they're gonna try to endorse Kamala Harris by any means necessary. Rather it's wanking black women history, if you want to consider her to be a black woman, because culturally she definitely isn't. Because I mean, I don't know what she was doing with those Tims she had on. I mean, those look those things was extra tight, bro. I don't think her feet could breathe. And you could tell it would have been natural if it was like paparazzi caught it. It was off, candid picture, off guard. They specifically dialed in on those Tims, and she probably put them on her feet while she was in the helicopter on the plane. They wanted you to see that. That was specifically targeted. Oh, she's got on the Tims. That's gonna be cool. And it's like trying to see an old person or someone who's up in age trying to be like they're young is like one of the most embarrassing things. I mean, this lady will be 60 years old and then next year. This lady's pushing 60, and you're still trying to appeal to a young, cool black audience. But like I say, if she truly was a black woman who was born and raised here, and she had any real connection to the culture, and people could see her for what she is, she wouldn't have to do these things. But it's sad that a woman who, like I say, who never identified as black up until this election, is now trying her hardest to be as black as she possibly can, And I think it's gonna fall on. She's gonna fall on her face and have egg on her face. And what's gonna be interesting is if she loses her and Joe Biden, will she still be doing all of this shit that she's doing? Will you still be dancing to Cardi B? Will you still be checking in on verses? Will you still be wearing these tight Tims laced up to the fucking ankles? Will you? I mean, she came out there wearing them Tims like she was about to fucking, go on a construction site or something. She was crazy. But this is what she's trying to do, and like I say, Black Celebrity is gonna try their hardest to get to the Kamala Harris. Charlemagne is still going in for her. I'm like, hey, the sheep, the sheep are gonna do what the sheep do. They're gonna follow suit. But the ones who have awoken, the people who truly are quote unquote woke, ain't buying this bullshit for 1 second. So they could try all they want, it ain't working. Kanye was like, oh, if my mom was around, she would have been a good friend of yours, Kamala. And I mean, they're trying their hardest to get Kamala in, and I just don't think it's gonna work. So, yeah, identity politics, one on one. Kamala Harris, nah. So that wasn't it.